'cause you were born with mischief in your eyes and fire in your veins.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to part 1 of my monthly wrap-up for January. So of course this is going to be in 2 parts because I did manage to read 20 books last month. Awesome. I'm actually recording this on the 1st. I'm recording this right after I filmed Top 5 Wednesday. Same shirt. Woohoo. Callie's no longer being a brat since you guys probably just watched the Top 5 Wednesday video. So let's get through the first half of the books I have. Now the first one I actually do own, but unfortunately I lent it to Brittany yesterday evening, so I don't have it with me, but that is Hades by Alexandra Adornetto. I really enjoyed this book, but not as much as Halo, which was the first book. This is the second book in the Halo trilogy. It was still really good, although it was definitely a tiny bit slow at times, and yeah. But the slowness really didn't take away from the story at all. It didn't take away from my enjoyment. And the ending was so good. So I think if it wasn't a bit slow, I probably would have ended up giving this a 5 stars. But because of the tiny bit of slowness, I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. So after that, I read The Dark Hunter Manga Volume 1 by Sherilyn Kenyon. It was really cool, like, reading this and having the art to go along with the story. This one, which had to do with Kyrian, has always been, like, one of my favorites in the Dark Hunter universe. Kyrian's story is pretty much the first book. There is a prequel book that I consider the first book because it ties in a lot with Kyrian's story, but yeah, so this had to do with like the first part of that story. I have not read the second manga yet, but I am definitely planning to. I own 1, 2, and 4. I need to get 3. But this was just perfect to me because it gave me that extra ability to visualize the characters and have them be how Sherilyn herself visualizes them. But yes, I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. After that, I read probably one of my favorite books of the month, and I think I said this in my January favorites video, but that was The Unelites by Marie Lu. I'm actually currently reading The Rose Society right now, so that's awesome. But I was just sucked right into this. It was amazingly written. I loved the plot. The ending was so wild and crazy and unexpected to me. And I really definitely like that it's kind of like the villain's point of view, which I didn't really see in this one. I'm definitely starting to see it more in the Rose Society. But I did give this a 5 out of 5 stars as well, and loved it. After that, I read the third book in the Halo trilogy, which was Heaven by Alexandra Adornetto. This one was just absolutely crazy. I was sucked right in, and it kept me sucked in. And I'm sorry if you see glare if I do this. My laptop is actually currently next to me uploading my February TBR video. But I absolutely loved this, and it was definitely a completely perfect ending to the series. This is actually going to be featured in the I will tell you, it's going to be featured in the top 5 series ending videos that I will be posting later on this month, which is awesome. But I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. The start of my month was literally awesome. Like, I read so many 5-star books. After that, I read Walk on Earth a Stranger by Rae Carson. This is the first book in the Gold Seer trilogy. I loved this book so much. I love Rae's writing style. She is an amazing writer. I was pulled into the Girl of Fire and Thorn series. I was pulled into this series. She always keeps me sucked in, and this was just such a good book and had such a different premise, and it was just so nice to read. And I can't wait for the second book to come out. I want to say it's called Like a River Glorious. I think so. It's coming out this year, and I'm so excited for it now that I've read Walk on Earth a Stranger, which had been on my TBR for the longest time, but my library didn't have it. But I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. After that, I read Vampire Academy by Richelle Mead. This is, of course, the first book in the Vampire Academy series. This was a reread for me, and I do enjoy this one every time I read it. It's definitely one of my favorite books from growing up. It's a nice book to just look back on and read again. I love my covers of these. I have the first 3, and I need to find the rest in this cover. I've said this before. I think I said it in my... Oh, wait, this is going up before my haul video. So, this will be the first time you hear it, and you're going to hear it again in my haul video. I hate the new covers. I hate the reprint covers. They're horrible, so I need to find these covers. This is a tiny bit slow, but I don't know if it's just for me because I've read it so much that I know what's going on, and it's like... Now it's like, okay, you know... get to the end where the good stuff is. But it does have such a good plot, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Don't fall asleep on my computer. After that, I read The Starlight Bargain by Dodie Smith. This is actually the sequel to The 101 Dalmatians. Yes, it was a book. No, I have not read the book. I need to find my own copy of The 101 Dalmatians, and it is so psychotically expensive on Kindle that I'm probably just going to end up buying it on thrift books or something and get myself a physical copy. But this is a very cute story. It is a great continuation of the story. Like, everyone knows the story of The 101 Dalmatians. It's pretty much what the movie is. There's just a few differences. I have talked to people who have read The 101 Dalmatians, and they said, the story is pretty much the same. It's just that there are a couple differences between the movie and the book, because the book is a tiny bit darker. But I highly recommend this. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, because it was good, but it wasn't my favorite. Yeah. After that, I read Tithe by Holly Black, or Tithe, I don't know how to pronounce it. But this is the first book in the A Modern Fairy Tale series. I definitely need to get the rest of these. I really enjoyed this. There was a few slow parts, as is common with a lot of YA books. But overall, it was a very good book. It kept me sucked right in most of the time, and it was really good. And I was actually recommended this by Britt. She saw me pick it up and look at it while we were at the used bookstore, and she was like, "Oh my god, get it." So I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm definitely going to continue the series at some point once I can find the books, because I want them in physical copy. After that, I read Hooked by Catherine Greenman. I got this from my library ebook. So this was a very cute story. I really enjoyed the plot, and it was highly entertaining. Major plus, the lead character was a crocheter. I'm a crocheter. Look on my Instagram, and you will see pictures of a project I'm currently working on. Everything's always linked down below. But I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book, so there we go. And the final book I read for this part was Slasher Girls and Monster Boys by April Genevieve Tcholk. I wasn't prepared for how creepy this actually was. I knew it was creepy. It was too creepy for me. It was just I was just creeped out way too much by some of these stories. There was an Alice in Wonderland one that I just, like, I had to put down and walk away because I was just so creeped out by it, and I wasn't expecting it. I have said this in, I think, my TBR video, I said it. I had pulled in January out of my comfort zone book, so I had to read a book out of my comfort zone. Originally, that was going to be The Gunslinger by Stephen King, because I am not very good with Stephen King books. Even the Dark Tower series, which isn't as bad, they just don't interest me. So I was gonna read that because we own a lot of Stephen King. My mom is a huge fan. So that's what I was gonna read. I ended up changing it to this book. It was way out of my comfort zone. I got through it. It was awesome. It was definitely well worth the read, but it definitely was out of my comfort zone book. But I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars overall, because while it was out of my comfort zone and creepy, it was still worth the read. It was still really nicely written, so yeah, I mean, I loved a lot of the authors in it, so yeah. But I have been talking for way too long. I need to take a break and go have a drink, so that is all for this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye, everyone.
'Cause you were born with mischief in your eyes and fire in your veins.